Hello, and welcome to Is There Life Out There? So, today I wanted to talk about empty nest syndrome, or maybe for some of you, you've had a marriage or a significant relationship. And okay, I feel there's a lot of things that happen that are the same. So, years ago, being alone felt very different than it does today. I used to think happiness came from the right friendships, the right relationship, and all of those wonderful things. Maybe always having something going on, other people to tend to. But somewhere along the way, I discovered something very unexpected. My own company became one of my favorite places to be. So let's get into this. Why being alone used to feel uncomfortable. Well, after raising two kids on my own and always having them around, they moved out and started living their own lives. And I was used to always having them around. I was like a fish out of water. I always felt something was missing because I was alone, no distractions. It was just me, myself, and I. I always thought when that day came, I'd be free. There'd be some sense of freedom. I could do whatever I wanted, when I wanted. I wouldn't have to worry about carpooling everybody, getting them to work, their friends, their hobbies, all of those things, because life was so hectic and so busy in those years, their teenage years. But the exact opposite happened. I felt lost. I had all this time on my hands, nobody to go shopping with. I was alone. The difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is feeling disconnected. Solitude is choosing you and your own company and enjoying it. Have you ever felt lonely in a crowded room, or perhaps even with somebody sitting 5 feet away? Meanwhile, you would give anything to be sitting alone with a cup of coffee peacefully in those moments because it's heavy. And that's where I feel, whether it be relationships or your kids leaving, where the two kind of coincide with each other. And what changed for me, and it didn't happen overnight, it happened slowly. Realizing loneliness was a Joanne problem. That was my problem, nobody else's. It wasn't a void I needed to run out and find somebody to fill, because that would mean I would have been settling. So I had to sit with it. So I came to the realization that peace has value. And not every empty space needs something or someone to fill it. It doesn't always need to be filled. So I became my own best friend. And I did a video on that if you're interested. I started to find joy in doing things alone. This is where negative thoughts create more negative thoughts, right? Positive thoughts create more positive thoughts. So I tried to find the positive in all these different situations I was put in when I was alone versus having someone to do these things with, like camping, going away for the weekend. And I had a moment with that in the very beginning. And I was driving through Jasper, Alberta, beautiful place. I live in Canada. And there was all these elks on these islands, and the creek was running all around them. It was stunningly beautiful. There were so many people out there taking pictures. And I pulled over and I took pictures. And I remember standing there thinking, I wish somebody was here, anybody, right? Because I knew pictures would not do what I was seeing with my very own eyes any justice at all. And that really sat with me and really bothered me. But as time went on, I learned that I'm worth it. If there's things I want to do or things I happen to see that I feel are magical, I'm worth it. And that's okay. You don't always need to have somebody there to enjoy it with you. For whatever reason, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be in that moment. On those trips, the one thing I realized is I could do or go wherever I wanted. There was nobody else to take into consideration. It was all about what I wanted to do. And it did feel strange, but at the same time, beautiful. I could eat where I wanted, just cook at the campsite if I wanted to, whatever it was. Go for a walk when I wanted to, nap when I wanted to, whatever it was. And I started to really embrace that. Another thing I enjoy doing, I don't know, some of you may recognize me from another channel, but I started working on YouTube videos. And I'm not perfect at that either. There's always room for progress, right? And always room for growth. But I just come out here and speak. And I really enjoy all of this stuff, learning a new mic, having a little clicker for my camera, all these little things that I'm learning because I am technology challenged. Just keep that in mind. So it has been a learning process, but I do truly enjoy it. Another thing that I started to realize was my home. There wasn't TVs on, video games going, everybody's phones going off, like all these little distractions. Instead, I found it very peaceful. There was very little drama. I wasn't exhausted when the day began, knowing all the things I had to accomplish for everybody else in that day. I could eat when I wanted, sleep when I wanted. Wasn't keeping anybody awake by listening to YouTube videos as I was nodding off to sleep. I started to really embrace all those little moments. It happened one small moment at a time. Being alone and being lonely aren't the same thing. The most peaceful moments happen when it's just me. Comfortable in my own company, listening to the birds chirping, sipping my coffee. I hope you found this helpful, insightful, and if you are feeling like a fish out of water, try to focus on the positives and not the negatives. Be very mindful of your mindset. It's very important. I hope to see you all again soon. And bye for now.